Hi, well, here we are another day, very bright in the sun, so I had to move into the shade to try and get you to see me. As it is, you'll probably see me full of shadow and whatever else. Look, I'm progressing on the quarter panels, the front ones that is, and I need to take you off the stand and just show you what I've done and what I've got so far. So let's take a little walk around. A little bit noisy, but we'll just see how we go. Right, so my thinking is that this is the A pillar. Okay, so, and what I did was I cut myself thinking that really this is the profile. This is the profile here that I need to follow, okay, fairly closely. So I cut myself a cardboard template and then did a timber cutout, as you can see, and then following that contour. Alright, so from that I take it that that's my profile. So if I go to this panel here, this is the right panel, okay, and I found that the right panel isn't actually too bad. So when I did cut that out, okay, I then from that ply I've got an inside and an outside edge. Okay, now if I look at the outside here and set it up just there, I'm a little bit wonky there. Okay, so but I'm also very flexible here. Okay, so let's pop the inside one in, because there's a little wall you might see just on the underside there. It's a little wall there, and it's a bit hard to do this. Okay, so alright, so you see that, and then the idea is that it follows that contour. Now if I stick this fellow on top, you can see that I'm fairly close, or close enough for spray fillers to complete the job for me. So I'm quite pleased with that. And then if I now move that along, you'll see that, you know, I've got that pretty much right across the board. Okay, right there and there. I've got to just stay with the angle and there. So that tells me that the right hand side profile is correct, and that's reasonably flat with not much curve. And then if I grab the straight edge, if I can find it, right, grabbing the straight edge, you can see that I don't have those issues. You can see a little bit of a dip there, but that's actually not a lot. You know, there's only a couple of millimeters there, and then same with here. There's a little bit of correction to do there, but again, it's not a lot. It's manageable. Okay, so I just need to bring that up. Okay, so this is fairly close to the profile that I need to be. Now, let's bring the other panel, the bad panel, back up. Okay, won't be a sec. I'll just have to shut this down for a moment, as I can't quite manage that and the camera at the same time. Alright. Okay, so this is the bad one again, the left side, okay, which I've put up. And we established that this one here has got the right profile. So again, if I start here, you can see my issues there and there. And then as I move along, can you see that? Okay, which is to state the obvious, I've got some real issues with rounding off here as well. So not only have I got this enormous dip here in the center, okay, where this is, but the rounding off of this panel is just so wrong. Okay, so I've got to bring that back, but what I'll do is fix the other one up, and with this buck that I've got here, maybe make up 2 or 3 more, another couple at least, and from that at least I'm starting to build a profile. Now ultimately it may mean that I need to cut this whole piece out and just weld in a new one, okay? So, and that's quite doable. I don't have an issue with doing that if that's where I need to be, and it's becoming more likely that that is the case. So let's throw the other one up, do a little bit more fixing, and see if we can get some more timber bucks on it. Okay, I've got to do a little bit of MIG welding on that other one, so I'll probably bring out the MIG and we'll just see how we go. Okay, so you can see there I've clamped that up to follow that profile more accurately, and I think that's where old meets new. That's where I had the little bit of a break. That's right there. Okay, so that's new, that's old, and so that's what we've got to weld back up into the profile that we've got. So I'll put you back on the stand and let's see how we go. Okay, so that's where the welding was done on the underside there to that bridge there, and you can see there I've got a pretty good line, and again that's a pretty good line. Okay, and it goes a bit funny here, but again a pretty good line, yeah. And also there I've got a really good line. Okay, so now the only issue I have is, if you have a look through there, you can see a bit of daylight. So I need to bring this up a little bit, and so I need to shrink that. Alright, so let's take a look at that. Good morning. back at the shed. So I'll show you what I've decided to do on that panel, and I've sought advice, and the general consensus is we can't do anything about that panel other than cut it out, the bad part that is, and put in a completely new part. So let me take you for a walk as to how I'm going to go about that. Right, so this of course is the just standing on end. This is of course is the bad panel, and you can see here all the efforts that I've gone to try and straighten it, okay, only to discover that it's in a really bad state. So what I've done is I've looked at the other side panel, and you can see underneath there I've got a buck under it, and we've established with the previous video you saw that this is the good one, the good panel. It's, you know, that it's got a fairly good profile, as shown here when I run this board along. You can see there underneath that I'm following the profile fairly accurately and fairly well right across, and this actually matches the door, both left and right hand side as well. So what I've got is a cutout panel. This is 18 gauge 1.2. So the plan is to shape this to fit the other hand. Okay, so it's going to sit other way around, and if I can just manage that. Just like so, and I'll put that on the bench shortly, but I need the good that good panel as my template while I try and shape this outer panel to meet that shape as accurately as I possibly can. So I had to do this in the shed today because I've got rolls that I need, and you can see, I mean, there's quite a bit of work, not so much on the upper side, which is sitting flat, but you can see how it starts to round off. Okay, and we're talking something like this sort of shape here. Alright, so that's what I'm going to try and do today. So let's take you to the rolls, and we'll take it for a walk through and just see how we go in developing that shape. Okay. These are the rolls that we have at the shed, and we've got a couple of hand rolls as well. So this is the electric one that we've got, and so what I've done so far is, as you can see, cleaned up the panel, cut it out basically to the shape that I wanted with the wheel well, and it's now got a slight curve in it. Okay, as you can see that. Okay, so we'll go over and fit that and just. Okay, so remembering that the panel underneath is quite distorted and trying to push it up, but essentially, if I just slide that back up where it needs to sit, it's going to sit like so, and if I push that down a bit, you can see that I'm going to cut the middle out shortly so that I don't have this hassle, but it's getting much closer to where it should sit. Okay, so same again here. Okay, a little bit more work required, but again it's only because it's being pushed up. Okay, and the idea is to cut that whole panel out to that size, and then TIG weld, which I'll do back at home. Okay, so that's essentially how it's going to sit when it's done. Alright, so my next step is to just roughly cut out some of that middle so I don't get the bump. Just the middle section here, a little bit short of where I need to be so I can do a final cut. And then I think I can manipulate this a lot better if I cut that center section out. Right, so that's what we'll do next. Alright. Now from that, of course, you know, at least I've got my straight line. We're in the middle of winter. I'm just outside my garage, and so if I look a bit shady here, the sun's actually quite bright. It's been pretty cold, 6 degrees, but it's turning out into to becoming a very nice day. Let's show you where we're at, and let's move on from there. So here we go. Okay, so you might remember the issues I've got with all of this panel here, and okay, so and then underneath this, I'm going to try and do this one-handed, but let's just see how we go. Okay, so as I promised in one of the previous videos, I was going to make a buck. I started off with this one piece and then cut off an extra 2 pieces, move them along so that I've got good spacing, and they're at that 20-degree angle as well, which is essentially where the angle of the A pillar and the doors and so on that you see. Now with that, I've also got here, I'll just reach behind me, again trying to do this one-handed, please excuse me. Okay, so move that out of the way, and so here's my 18 gauge panel, the one that I intend to put in. Okay, I don't know if you can see that reasonably clearly, and you know, it's actually sitting quite well, just with a little bit of, you know, finger pressure, just to make it sit nice and stable on those little cutouts on the buck. So the plan is, if you can see this black outline, that's actually the line that I need to follow, but I'm going to cut just inside that boundary quite a bit because there's still work to do up here, and also here's where this line ends, and the reason for that is that I've got that shoulder there that I need to try and steer clear of. So this here tends to drop away. So if I cut it, say, about 1 inch away from the line, and then I need to do some work to try and bring that up. And I'm hoping that by getting rid of a lot of what's in the middle, it's going to make this a lot more flexible, and then we'll sit it in the buck and just see what our issues are from there. So let's just move on from there. Okay, alright, the replacement piece, the buck, and the dreaded panel. So I'm going to put you back on the stand and set up for cutting that out. Okay, so let's be ruthless. Let's do it. Okay, let's just clean the table a bit. Okay, just drop those earmuffs. Alright, so let's have a look and see what we got. Alright, so we cut out. You notice that this has been sticking up in the air and it's now dropped down. So I'll obviously relieve some pressure somewhere to allow that to do that. So there's our big hole. Okay. Right. Let's put the bucky back in and see where that takes us. Okay. Now, I'd have to use a couple of clamps just to make sure that I'm coming in nice and tight. Alright, let me take you for another walk around that so we can just see what we're doing here. So I'm hard up against this this little flanged edge here, okay, which is at that 20-degree offset from the 90 degrees. As you can see, in other words, the angle is that way. All right. So bucky's in. It's not sitting down here very well at the moment, but I might need to clamp that a bit. Let's just have a look. And as I said, this end is sitting down. However, the whole thing's in the air a bit, but then it's sitting high in the bucky. So, yeah, I think I need to clamp that down and see what I can do about getting this down. Also, I'm worried this edge here was dropping down, which it should be sitting nice and flat. If I put this part on, the good part that I'm planning to put on, right, that sun's a little bit bright. Not a lot I can do about that. But anyway, okay. Now that'll pull up a little bit there. I've still got to cut a little bit out of this this vent hole here, but you can see my piece that I'm putting in is sitting That's actually sitting very well there on that edge there. On here, okay, this will come up when I cut the rest and weld that. That should bring that up a bit. But I've still got an issue just here, I think. And now, let's see, if I take this and we take a look, and it's dropping down. Probably maybe if I do it from the other side, you might see the daylight a bit better. You see that through that. Okay, so let's clamp it down. You can see that bit of daylight there. So, you know, 1 mil of that would be the fact that I'm sitting on top of the panel, but that is looking a lot better. It's looking a lot more parallel. But I still suspect that it really does need to come up a bit. Alright, let me just stop there for a moment, put on some clamps,